Hi there, my name is Tim. I'm one of the co-creators of Lifeline, and in this video I'm going to show you how calendar syncing works with Lifeline. So once you have Lifeline Pro or you've started a trial, you can go to Preferences, and then here you'll see Calendars. And when your calendar does not have access, or when Lifeline doesn't have access to your calendar, it will look blank like this, and you'll see a red dot here saying you need to grant Lifeline permission to access your calendar. So you click this button and then it will open up your system settings. It should go to the privacy and security tab, and then here you should see Lifeline, and you need to turn this on, and then you will have to quit and reopen Lifeline to make the calendar active, that calendar connection. So if I do that, then Lifeline should start again, and if it doesn't do that, you can do it manually. Here we go. I have the welcome screen still turned on, so you see that. And then we go to Preferences and Calendars. And now I see all my calendars here. So depending on which calendars you have linked in iCloud and in your Mac OS calendar, those are the calendars that will show up here. So you can actually, if you have Gmail, for example, if you have a Google Calendar or an Outlook calendar that you're syncing into your Mac OS calendar, then it should show up here. So you cannot connect Lifeline directly to Google Calendar or to Outlook, but if they're connected to your iCloud and to your Mac OS calendar, then they will show up here. And the same goes for other calendar apps. So for example, I use both Cron and Fantastical, and both those, it works with those calendars because my calendars are syncing also with my iCloud account and with my macOS calendar, even though I never use macOS calendar. So that's how to set it up. Sorry, let me find back the window. Where is it? Apologies. It's on another desktop. Here we go. So here's my calendar. Hide this one. Okay, so here's the screen. Now within a calendar you can have kind of different calendar tracks. They're also usually, I think, called calendars, which is a bit confusing. But so, for example, within my personal Gmail calendar, I have birthdays, I have family, blah, blah, blah. So I don't need, here with this checkbox, you can indicate which event should show up on your Lifeline. So, for example, I don't want birthdays or anything like that, or holidays in the Netherlands to show up here on my Lifeline. I just want my personal one to show up because I'll have personal meetings on there. I want from my work, from animals, to show up because I'll have meetings there. And I want to have the ones from Sane show up because I want to see my Sane meeting. So those are meetings, and they'll be treated as meetings. So if you go to, which we saw in a previous video, if you go to an event and you right click it, then it will treat it as a meeting. But what you can also do is you can also plan sessions on your calendar. And so what you could do is you can create a special calendar track for those sessions, and then you can say, okay, I also want to show this one, but these are sessions. So then you turn this to session, and then Lifeline will treat anything that's on that calendar track as a session. So in that way, you can really do how time boxing is supposed to be done, which is you plan your tasks and your activities and your Lifeline sessions on your calendar instead of on your to-do list. So that way you kind of see exactly how much time you have. And then Lifeline will also automatically take the information from the calendar event and use that, for example, as the session label. So here, for example, you will see for this meeting, it takes this from the calendar. Sorry, that's the auto launch. It will take this from the calendar, and it will assign it by default this emoji, which you can also change in preferences. We saw that in the previous video. But you can also, if you wanted to have a certain emoji by default for tracking purposes, then you can actually give your calendar event started with an emoji, and then Lifeline will automatically put that emoji into that emoji box of your session or your calendar event. Then the last thing you need to know about the calendar syncing function of Lifeline is that you can also sync your data back to your calendar. So if you do that, then I recommend you create a separate calendar track specifically for that purpose. So I have one in my Saint calendar, which is called Lifeline data, which you can also not turn on because you don't want that data to come back into your Lifeline. But so Lifeline then exports your actual sessions to that calendar track. So if you then turn on that calendar track in your calendar, you can see how much time you actually spend on certain things. So if I go back here, let's go here for a moment. And then if I say, no, sorry, let's go to this day, like this. And then if I say, is this the correct one? Yes. Then if I turn that on here, it will take a moment to load. Then you'll see the actual sessions that I did in your calendar. So I would not like, first of all, don't mix up like your normal calendar track with this track, because then you get all these meetings, all these events that are thrown into your calendar, which can get very messy. So it has to be a separate calendar track. But then the cool thing is that you can kind of compare, if you do time boxing on your calendar, you can then compare what you planned to what you actually did. So for example, here you can see I was planning to do my weekly planning at 3 o'clock, but in reality I was still working on Sane strategy, and I only started doing my weekly planning here. So it's a very cool way to kind of compare planned versus actual and learn from that. I think that's all you need to know about calendar syncing. If you have a question, don't hesitate, put it in the comments below or send me a message. It can be on Twitter @getsaint or at support@saint.com, and Saint is SAENT. All right, thank you, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.